It's 12 noon on the East Coast, 9 a.m. on the West.
And this is Reprint.
This isn't breaking headlines. This is a second look with context added for perspective.
This is Reprint, edited after the headlines.
All right. Good morning to the West Coast and good afternoon to the East Coast. I'm Crystal Jordan Jennings, and this is the Reprint with myself and, of course,
Victor Flavius. How y'all doing out there on the East Coast?
Good. You know what? We are well. We are anticipating some type of weather, trauma. Blizzard is allegedly on the way, but other than that, we are well. What about you?
I'm good out here. It's a little cloudy, sunny today. Good today. Yesterday was cloudy, but today is a little bit more sunnier.
Okay, all right.
People on the East Coast are bundling up for the cold. So yeah. And
in anticipation of what appears to be a very aggressive winter storm on the way. I hope a lot of times people, the weather teams and news warn people. And we've actually, our governor has been doing television statements and telling people, make sure that they're prepared for the bad weather. And, I think, I hope that it's not that bad, but I do appreciate the fact that after we went through the blizzard Armageddon back in 2014, Georgia is attempting to be prepared. So, but hopefully it won't be that bad,
Yeah, hopefully people prepared and got their food and
batteries
and things they need to to bundle down for a couple of days. How that goes, water and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely, hopefully. But you know what, this is such an amazing, I feel good today, even though we are on the verge of an impending blizzard, just because the Oscars nominees were announced yesterday, and I feel like I was a part of the team. I feel like I am a part of, I am so happy for Team
Coogler.
Yes, I am so happy for Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. What an amazing accomplishment. A few years after we protested because it felt like a lot of African Americans were not being seen, their projects were not being seen at the Oscars. Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan made Oscar history with 16 nominations for Sinners.
Record breaking.
That's never been done, ever.
I know.
Ever.
16. That's the whole.
The entire show.
Nearly the entire. Yeah. So if they get 2, 3, 4, it doesn't really matter. They still all get awards. That's amazing. Wow.
Yes. I mean, like I said, I felt like they're like my little brothers that I was just like so proud of. Just just watching this journey. We know that they snagged 2 best cinematic picture and then best soundtrack at the Golden Globes, and a lot of people felt like they should have won a few more, but literally 16 nominations.
That's when you plan properly. I watched. We both watched Michael B. Jordan come up as an actor, and we've seen him growing into a young adult and then to a man, and and also Ryan Coogler behind the scenes, all the stuff we've done. But Michael B. Jordan, more notably, he took his opportunity with the Creed film.
Yes.
He took a page out of Tom Cruise's book by becoming the person that owns Creed or. And took that franchise to a different level. So that was pretty smart of him in his early career,
Yeah, I think they've both been making really smart decisions. Speaking of the financial aspect of it, Ryan Coogler actually owns the rights to Sinners. So we did a deal that was very different. And you guys, if you're listening and want to know more about this, we have a great article on LennoxandParker.com that talks a lot about just the journey that these two have been on, and the fact of how they've, made some smart business moves. I think when you see this happen, it's like the past teaching the present. I'm sure they've taken a piece out of all the people that have come before them.
Right.
And I think even with the deal with Sinners, with him having the rights come back to him after a certain period of licensing, that has never been done. And with this movie, being so highly acclaimed, that's definitely going to pay off.
Yeah, it's smart because I was reading earlier that it's an original film or score, so it's not like something he's read before in a book and it's an adaptive. No, this is him writing it, creating it from his imagination and doing it. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I think all of us are so proud of them. And then also, talent is great, but when talent matches up with the way you carry yourself, right, and the way you handle yourself publicly, that's even better. And I think both of these young men are just exemplary in how they handle themselves. Ryan Coogler has spoken about how his wife, supported him and believed in him early on in his career. He's all about business. We don't see anything negative about either of these young men. Just great examples of Black excellence. Not even Black excellence. It's just excellence.
Excellence. I would love to see Ryan Coogler act. I haven't seen him in any movies, but Michael B. Jordan directs, and then he, Michael, Coogler acts. So it'd be cool to see Ryan Coogler in a film down the road. Maybe have a small part or something like that. But
I also love the fact that they're just like this dynamo team.
I know, right?
Ryan Coogler directs, and he gets the best out of Michael B. Jordan, and you can't help but think back to how Black Panther, the first Black Panther, just impacted people. And then at that point we had Michael B. Jordan with Ryan Coogler and also Chadwick Boseman. And I just can't help but to believe that Chadwick is, just part of this, smiling down at them and giving them that energy, and that blessing to keep going. Michael B. Jordan made a statement to People magazine. He said that his mom was his first call. My mom was my first call. It was great, a lot of tears, and the reason why I'm even in this industry and why I'm acting at all, why that was even an idea. To talk to the woman who started it all first meant the world. You can't,
I know, it's amazing.
Just can't find a better example of a young man that really took his time. Not only is he talented, but he's also put in the hard work. I think both of them are talented, right? But I think when people work hard, they can often, supersede talent. But to have talent and the work ethic, and know how to carry yourself with a sense of integrity is just, I'm just up
it also brings home the point where Hollywood was saying that Black actors aren't big enough for box office, international, and all the stuff. And Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan show that we can take the box office, we can be international, we can support Hollywood. And you see with 16 nods that pretty much they took the whole thing.
They took
swept. Yeah.
Swept. And I think it's, I do think that there's obviously a lot of discrimination within the construct of Hollywood, right? But I also think that there's a certain amount of courage to being unwilling to compromise what your dream is, right? And what you feel like. So I just feel like with Ryan Coogler, creating Black Panther in the way that he did with Marvel, and it was unapologetically Black, right? That movie was just unapologetically Black, and it still did records. It did, it impacted across racial boundaries. And so I think sometimes the lesson in there for me as a creative, and I know a lot of people listening, are creatives as well, is as opposed to shrinking back because we feel like we don't always, Hollywood may not have the faith or the belief in people of color being able to resonate across, the globe, as opposed to shrinking and trying to make it palatable for the old regime. He went against the grain and was like, I'm just going to do something that it just felt so much like an ode to Black pride. And it worked. And he's continued to do, and not compromise, not try to fit himself inside of a pre-made Hollywood box. And I think that's also a great lesson to pull from.
Yeah, he did a good job with all the films he's done. From the wardrobe to the soundtracks to everything, it's such excellence. You can pick it apart and find, something in each section of it. And he put his foot in it pretty much on everything,
Yeah.
to be lack of better words. But yeah, they're excellent producers, and just the fact that they pick these films and the stories behind it, it makes you look forward to future projects coming. The new Black Panther coming up and whatever else they have coming up along the way. That's great stuff.
Yeah. And I think, personally, like when a black man or two black men, have this type of success, it is such a beautiful addition to that for them to also make the way for a Black woman to be the most nominated Black woman in Oscar history. Ruth Carter, who is wardrobe costume designer, earned her 5th Oscar nomination for Best Costume Design for her work with Sinners. Before her nomination, Ruth Carter was tied with Oscar-winning actress Viola Davis with 4 nominations. She is now tied with Spike Lee and Morgan Freeman for the 3rd most nominated Black creative overall. And she, I actually had the opportunity or the pleasure or the honor of working with Miss Ruth Carter a few years ago, actually probably about, it's been quite a few years at this point. But she was doing an event here with SCAD, and I'm friends with one of the people in her team, and he reached out for us to help her with publicity for this event, and then to set up some interviews for her. Just an amazingly gracious woman, so talented. When you know that I can't think of anything that she has not been involved with when it comes to Black films that are highly regarded and have been, highly acclaimed. Malcolm X, she's worked with Spike Lee, and then of course she did Black Panther, the first time. But seeing her, she did a almost like a pop-up here in Atlanta, where you could go through and see the different costumes that she created for different movies, right? And I didn't know, all the way back to, like I said, Spike Lee with School Days. Like, she's been doing this for so long. She's so good at what she does, and she's such a gracious, just gracious, beautiful woman. When I was at another media outlet, Rolling Out, I did a cover story on her and had the opportunity to work with her on the publicity side, and then also just, learning more about her story. But she's so talented, and she's made the way for a lot of up and coming wardrobe and costume designers to have an opportunity to be involved, But I would love to see her after this nomination. I would love to see her do another pop-up where people that want to be in the industry, or she's really just a part of Black history. All that she's done, it's really a part of Black history. But there's a lot of, there actually were, what we said, 10 to 12 African American nominees at this Oscars. It looks like, African American people of color swept this year as well. Let's get into some of them. Let's get into some of it. Some of the people. I know Delroy Lindo, amazing actor, has been on the screen for years. And I'm wondering, has he had other nominations? Sure.
This is his first nomination.
His first nomination?
Yeah, he acted for a minute, and then he took a break and came back with that movie. Was it Bloods? The Bloods or Five Bloods? Yeah.
Okay.
That was the last film that I think the last film that Chadwick was in as well. Mm-hmm. But this is his first nomination. This is Michael B. Jordan's first nomination as well too.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get nominated for Creed.
Yeah, but that's politics and that's Hollywood, and there's a lot of reasons why. But in this particular instance, we have 3 legends. We have Delroy Lindo, first nomination. He's an older gentleman, been around for a minute. Michael B. Jordan, first nomination as well. Raphael Sadiq,
Yes.
This is not his first nomination, but this is his first time being what is it? This is the second nomination. Sorry, second nomination.
And he's for Best Original Song.
Yes, Best Original Song. Yeah.
Also, we got to talk about our girl Teyana Taylor. We saw she did her thing. She did her big thing at the Golden Globes a couple of weeks ago, and she is nominated for Best Supporting Actress. So we have Best Supporting Actor, Delroy Lindo, Best Supporting Actress, Teyana Taylor for her role in One Battle After Another. Yes. So we have. Let's see here. Let's look at the nominees here. So yes, Best Supporting Actor, Delroy Lindo. Best Supporting Actress, Wunmi Mosaku. And there was another actress. There's quite a few people thought that others would get that Best Supporting Actress role. Best Supporting Actress, Teyana Taylor, and then Best Actor, Michael B. Jordan. Amazing. Yeah. And then we also have the behind the scenes folks, right?
Yep.
So we have the behind the scenes people, and I love the fact that we're getting a chance to see both. Obviously, Ryan Coogler, Best Director and Best Original Screenplay. Our girl Ruth Carter, of course, like we said, for Best Costume Design. Shanika Terry here for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Also for Sinners. Hannah Beechler, Best Production Design for Sinners. And then it's just I don't know.
Then for that Devil is Busy, Crystalyn Hampton, she's another person as well.
Okay. And she's what is the
I guess it's documentary short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. It just feels good to see so many people of color. And I'm not one of the people that think that you should get nominated just because you're Black, right?
No,
I do not believe that. I believe that the work has to be of merit.
Right.
And that's what makes I'm so excited about with this, because we know that the work was of merit. It was excellent. It had, from the collective of it, right, to the screenplay,
right,
the music, the costume, Michael B. Jordan acting as two twin brothers with totally,
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. That was interesting.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I know people do. I know there's like a new, well, not new, but Hollywood. There's a way to do it in Hollywood where you have, two parts. But that was done so well. I don't know how they did it, but they did such a good job with how he played those two parts, and
two very different characters, even though they were twins. Very, very different energy, and to see him interacting with himself.
I know. It's kind of surreal, right?
It is. So I'm like, just very, very well deserving. Now, some people were upset because there was a snub. Let's talk about this a little bit. Wicked was, people feel like Wicked was snubbed because neither Ariana Grande nor Cynthia Erivo received Oscar noms, and Wicked for Good. This is the second. This is the sequel to Wicked. Was not received 0 nominations as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I honestly haven't seen either one because those are like, I guess, kid movies and Halloween based and whatever. But I don't know. I think the well, first of all, the Academy always struggles with sequels and musicals,
right?
Especially when they're seen as a spectacle over substance. So like, it's all the fluff and no like substance in it,
right?
And then you have people who vote for the films. So I think with Sinners being as strong as it was, with all the cast, the leading actors, and it being a great film, there was no room for Wicked. And this is a sequel, so they won last time. So it's almost like people really want good content versus just fluff. So that's my take on that.
I will say this. So the first Wicked won 2 Academy Awards, Best Costume Design and Best Production Design, which really still is not like, that doesn't speak to the film. I did see the first. I did not, and I saw it because I was doing a piece for another outlet I write for, but it would definitely not have been my, I probably wouldn't have seen it if not for that, right?
Right.
I don't know. I guess I'm a Christian. I just felt like I wasn't in alignment. The movie was not in alignment with my beliefs. Also, I will say this: the press run for Wicked for Good was kind of strange to me.
Really?
Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo were, doing press together, and it just felt odd.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah, the way Cynthia was like fawning over her, and it just felt very strange. And I'm not really sure what was going on there. I'm not really sure, but I know it just kind of felt odd to me. People, there was that moment where they were doing red carpet, and I guess an overzealous fan, stepped out and tried to touch Ariana and Cynthia.
That didn't go too well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not against the protection, but it just, you would watch interviews and Cynthia would be like fixing her during the interview to where it was almost disruptive. Yeah. It just felt strange, and I also feel like I was not in alignment with.
I was gonna say that.
The message.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, in the entertainment world, there has to be some level of what was to relate to the artist or the performance. If we can't, if the audience can't connect or relate to it, then it's like in Sinners they showed a lot of African heritage with the music, the food when she was in the kitchen cooking and the healing stuff, and they showed a lot of elements that people relate to even to this day. Wicked, it's just commercial.
It is. It felt like
story.
Like a fairy tale type story. And I know that what a lot of people don't know, because I've always been a big Disney person, a big fairy tale person, but a lot of those fairy tales are really rooted in some pretty dark stuff, and they give us the watered down version. But it's unfortunately, and like I said, I'm still a fairy tale girl, but I'm able to see now, kind of discern.
I almost took a break from Sinners. Like I almost didn't see it at first because the word was, "Oh, this is some dark, voodoo stuff, and we shouldn't be involved." And I was like, I don't know if I want to see Sinners. When I finally saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is totally not what it is, and what everyone's saying it is in the media." And so even that had a somewhat of a rocky start with people,
it did
second guessing.
I felt the same as you, because I feel like just as a Christian, I have it can be very challenging sometimes to support things that I feel like are not in alignment with what my core beliefs are. And I did feel like that. I mean, the title, like Sinners, like Wicked, like what is happening? Like but I also understood once I looked, I took a chance, because a lot of times for me because I write, I've always been a writer. I will look up what is like the summaries and the pitch for the film and try to figure out what that is before I see it, because I want to know like what is the underlying message here? What are we doing? What in a lot of things I'll do research and look for the actual, like somehow you can even, some screenplays you can even read prior just to kind of see what it is. And so I think there was a lot of messaging there that was cleverly hidden. Even in how music can be, a gateway to so many things. It can definitely a seductress and so to speak. But yeah, I think people are upset because first of all, you're never gonna make everybody happy. But there's no matter if it's the people of color are upset or women are upset or the LGBTQ, everyone's going to be upset there if their favorite doesn't get it. But I did see a lot of conversation online about Wicked for Good being snubbed, and I don't know if it was snubbed or maybe it just didn't measure up. Also, sequels are very rarely, receive nominations. So that's worth mentioning as well.
We had some other snubs too, as well.
Mm-hmm.
George Clooney didn't win.
Yes,
he didn't even get nominated.
George Clooney was nominated. Adam Sandler, who's also big Hollywood guy. Now Dwayne Johnson. I didn't see The Rock. Dwayne Johnson. I guess we have to call him Dwayne Johnson now that he's not. He's no longer in WWE, but
still a Rock.
You're right. But the movie that he did was about a MMA fighter. And
I think it was that a bodybuilder, one of the two.
I think it was an MMA fighter.
MMA, okay.
Yeah, but he basically had to go through a metamorphosis physically.
Yeah, he did.
Take on this this role. I'm gonna pull it up here. But I watched some of it just because there was a lot of. I did a piece on how this film was not received as well. And he really went through a lot and played this guy's. It was like a biopic, right? And he said, I saw an interview where he said that he wasn't upset about it because he felt like the movie he did a great job. He felt like it was great. I think he was like one of the producers on it as well. Hold on, I'm pulling this up. Because I really want to.
I also think I'm gonna say something while you do that. I also think that it's also time and place, right? I don't think maybe it was the time for that to come out because with all the stuff going, it's like almost reading the room, right? So a lot of the films that come out, it's almost like, okay, well, bad timing, or this could have been better if people was able to, absorb most of it, digest it,
So he played Mark Kerr, who was a UFC Ultimate Fighting Champion.
Okay.
And he gained weight, like you can see in this photo of him. He doesn't even look like himself. He gained a lot of weight, gained a lot of muscle, did a lot of training, because that's that's tough, violent fighting. It was called the Smashing Machine, and Emily Blunt. Played his significant other, but I don't know. I feel like there are some movies that people catch on too late, or that, like you said, the timing was wrong. This came out in October. I think even in October, there's obviously a lot of scary movies that go out around that time. But I kind of think that's like people are moving into like a holiday season energy. So I don't know that maybe the timing could have been wrong. Maybe people need. I didn't really see the publicity wasn't strong for that movie either. Yeah. Because by the time I did a piece on it and saw some information on it online, it had already been out for a while and it already not really done well. So, but I think that he delivered a great performance. I think it's maybe I know for me as a woman, I think women are the biggest part of the audience, commercial audience, right? I don't know if it's probably not something I would be interested in, that man's story outside of Dwayne, The Rock. But this guy, I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about that. Watching a fighter, I don't know. I just wasn't. I also didn't see the magazine Dream film that John
I didn't either.
It felt like that was kind of because I know he did a full transformation, physical transformation as well. They were very proud of that movie, but it didn't receive any hype. And I think outside of his legal trouble, we probably wouldn't even have known about it because that's the only reason we heard it, because that was the first movie he did after dealing with all the legal issues that he was dealing with. But
I did see that the one with George Clooney. I did see that one, some of it. I tried watching it. It was a hard watch because it was so slow moving.
Really?
It was pretty much about his life as a celebrated actor at the end of his career. And he kind of wanted to change positions from being that to more of a dad role because he had a daughter. He didn't spend too much time with her because he was a famous actor and he was in Hollywood, outside of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And the film pretty much was slow to that point. And I was like, I can't watch this anymore. So I kind of turned it off.
I I didn't even see. That's what I'm saying. I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah.
There's so much now that we're inundated with. So many movies, so many streaming platforms, so much going on. A lot of big movies are now being released on Amazon or Netflix. So
Netflix, yeah, right. Paramount, yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange how it works. But I do know that George Clooney he was the Hollywood hunk guy, right? Mm-hmm. Good looking, that women, and I know that he's kind of raged against that, of being like that. He wants to be taken seriously, and he's not really like, he's that guy that has the looks and the charm, but he doesn't really, lean into that. He's really like a hard worker and wants to be more substance driven. So, but I'm excited. I can't wait for us to do our show after the Oscars. We should do a leading up to the Oscar show before, and then I
was thinking we should do an Oscar show. That would be fun.
Good, yeah, we definitely should. We have to have a fashion segment. I may need to bring on somebody for fashion to talk about our fashion. Okay. So we definitely have to do that. What goes up must come down, and so. Oh boy. So after hearing about all that Black excellence, we've got some disappointing news. Yeah. Gervonta Davis, who has been he's not a heavyweight champion, but he's been a boxing champion, has found himself in some trouble and is currently, I don't want to say he's on the run, but he's kind of on the run. There's a warrant out for his arrest because of a domestic violence situation with a significant other. I don't know if it's his official, I know it's not a wife, but it's a woman that he's been romantically involved with. And a warrant was put out, and instead of turning himself in, he continues to kind of, I guess, elude the law. So far, Gervonta is undefeated, but and I think he was up under Floyd Mayweather initially. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Floyd, I know, removed himself because Gervonta's behavior was very, very different. He's not disciplined, and I know in order to be a fighter, you have to be very disciplined. What I do know about Floyd Mayweather is Floyd. A lot of people think of his media persona as what they know of him. He's involved in a lot of conversation, but when it comes to the sport of boxing, I don't think anyone is more disciplined than Floyd Mayweather. So it made sense that having Gervonta as a protege would not work because he did not really get with the program. Gervonta is talented, but I am afraid that his maturity level was not at the same level as his talent. He's known for explosive knockouts, and he was a huge draw. I think a lot of that was because of his connection with Floyd and the fact that he was undefeated, but he's been in the news more often for negativity, than not. Before this court case came up, and this happened in Vegas, he was online and he was showing pictures of himself. He had gained a lot of weight. He was out of shape, and he was saying that he was going to get back in shape. But, that is very hard on your body when you allow yourself to be out of shape so far and then try to hurry up and get back in shape. That yo-yo dieting and doing things that are not healthy for you are going to in your fight. So I hate to hear that he's on the run, but I think that he's tearing his career down, piece by piece.
Well, I'm going to add to that. So the arrest warrant was in for Miami Gardens Police. Mm-hmm. And U.S. Marshals are currently looking for him right now. Yeah. And because of those allegations that he's dealing with, his title was downgraded. So he lost the World Boxing Association downgraded his lightweight title. So he lost that situation, and he has to resolve it, after his legal matters. Mm-hmm. Also, his Jake Paul fight was canceled. He was supposed to fight Jake Paul, so that got canceled. So he's dealing with a lot of issues, legal and financial, because that's a lot of money he just lost.
It is.
Both places,
Jake Paul is. What do you think about all these exhibition fights? These fake, influencers fighting real fighters, and then I think a lot of these are fixed. I don't think it's good for the sport.
So I don't think it's bad because, first of all, it's a sport, right? So I don't want to take it too seriously on that level. But these guys also train. Jake Paul trains. We might not like him, but he trains pretty hard. And he's also bringing money and face to a audience that normally doesn't get the money, or the recognition. Boxing is a sport, and so there's two sides. If you want to be an athlete and you train for that, then you go into the Olympics and the more serious side of stuff. But most of these guys that do it want that. But if you can't get that, then you go to the other side where it's just you're a boxer and you join, because there are different organizations you join, different groups you join. The exhibition part of it, I think, is fine because, again, if I was a boxer, you get beat up.
Yeah.
And a lot of the athletes from even football, a lot of the kids, when they have CTE later on in life because they've been playing sports since they were 5, and your brain gets whatever. So I think for a sport, exhibition wise, it's good to show your skill. But if you really want to be taken seriously, then it has to be on a Olympic level or something like that.
Well, I think, when you look at lightweight champion of the world, middleweight, welterweight, middleweight, heavyweight champions of the world. I think that is taken. I worked with Roy Jones Jr. before, who was an amazing athlete in his prime. Obviously, Evander Holyfield, amazing. Mike Tyson. I really think, to me, I think Mike Tyson was probably the biggest boxing star that we'll ever see. But that did not end well. He's fine, but his boxing career, didn't end well. Floyd has managed to keep it, but I think he actually has another doesn't Floyd have an exhibition fight coming?
I believe he may have one, but I'm not sure. Floyd and Pacquiao may have another one coming, I think, but that's exhibition. Yeah.
And I know I was talking to a couple of friends. They were like, it's better that he do exhibition than because it's not as hard on, like you said, it's not as hard on your physical as the fighting to the death of the championship. But I think boxing, there's respect with that sport. I just think that we are not seeing those type of charismatic draws that we did have with, I think Floyd is probably the last one, right? So I think the sport is suffering because of that. And that's why it's really sad, because I think Gervonta really could have been, and he still has time. He's very young, very, very young, but he's just making a lot of bad decisions. So I hope that he can get himself back together. First of all, he's gonna have to turn himself in, because if he gets caught, it's gonna be worse. He would listen to someone and turn himself in. But
also the times we're living in, right? So take it some history here. Muhammad Ali had legal issues when it came to Vietnam War. He didn't want to go. They locked him up, whatever. And now, different time, Gervonta have something else going on. He, legally could be locked up as well. But there's two different times. Muhammad Ali's era, respect and Black excellence and civil rights, and then you come this era, and it's just a different mindset. And so these kids have so much more, but at the end of they're not using
seriously.
Opportunities.
I do want to clarify. So he has 2 cases out.
2. Okay.
2.
Okay.
There's a hit and run case that he was involved in Baltimore.
Okay.
And that crash included 4 people, including a pregnant woman, and he fled the scene. So he was convicted and sentenced to house arrest. And then this recent is the domestic violence allegation. And this is back from a 2020 incident. And in 2022, the arrest, the charges were dropped. But as of right now, I guess certain charges were dropped, but he still had some that he was needed to show up for. So he's been in trouble since 2020, this consistently from a hit and run. And that's so strange. Like, why would you run from a hit and run unless there's something going on? Because he fled the scene, everyone else stayed there. And then this recently, also with the domestic violence. So I hope that he's able to get himself together. Like I said, he's young. He was full of promise, but I think not having that mentor in Floyd that hurt him. I think that he's a reminder that it takes more than talent. You got to have that discipline. We're talking about with Michael B. Jordan and
team. And you have a team around you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even if you're talented and even if you are the talent and you are talented, you still have to have discernment.
Right.
And the right people around you. It's a lot to make your name brand move forward, because a lot of people are talented, but if you're not listening to the guy or the woman who's giving you the advice, then whatever happens to you happens to you.
Yeah, it goes bad quickly. It almost can go bad faster.
Yeah, and it's almost
building your career and building this opportunity, and then to destroy it immediately. So speaking of destroying careers, I gotta talk a little bit about my guy Chris Brown. Now, Victor,
Breezy.
I am a Breezy fan. My daughter and I have gone to every single Breezy concert. Yes, he, was in some things when he was younger. Chris Brown is 36 years old now. The situation that the domestic violence situation, including Rihanna, happened when he was 17, 18 years old. I think he's owed some grace for that. He was in fashion. He was in Paris for Fashion Week just recently. There he is walking down the street looking absolutely amazing with his road manager Ant there behind him. So Chris Brown, I thought this was hilarious. I said Chris Brown handles a bugaboo fan. Yesterday online there was a fan. I'm a fan that he blocked on Instagram, and so instead of begging him to get to let her to unblock her, she made a song. She wrote a song. She's a songwriter, and she sang, "Chris Brown, please unblock me." I mean, she was I can't sing, but it actually was it sounded really good. Like if you listen to it, I think with the Shade Room, a couple other platforms posted it. What happened is Chris Brown saw it, and he did not unblock her, but he did repost her song in his story.
Amazing.
I thought that was a very wise thing, because obviously she wants attention.
Yeah.
She wants attention. I don't know what she did to make him block her, but he is one of those celebrities that I have old publicist bones. Like I was a publicist from way back where we would just tell client talent not to respond. Chris Brown responds. It's almost like sometimes I wish I could just take the phone away. Right? Because he will respond. He's emotional. He will respond. But I think that also he's just a very authentic person. I think unlike a lot of celebrities, he's very authentic. He's going to say what he thinks. He's not going to hide it. He's talented beyond, but he also is very human, and he allows that human side. We see him get upset. We see him, show his feelings a lot on social media. So something this fan did to piss him off. He blocked her. But then he reposted, and I thought that was a very gracious way of handling that, because she's talented. If you can make up a song, get production behind it, but it didn't. She still wants him to unblock her, which I'm sure he's not. So people were talking yesterday just about how amazing he looked at Paris Fashion Week, dressed in all browns. Most people would not look that good in all brown, but Chris manages to pull it off.
Pulls it off, yeah.
Yeah, but you see, there's more. There's more.
Yeah, so he's back in the headlines, not for music, but for a legal move tied to his infamous moment in his career. As story have it, Chris Brown is asking an LA judge to block any mention of Rihanna in his ongoing $90 million civil lawsuit. Brown wants the court to exclude references to the past relationship and 2009 domestic violence case from being brought up during proceedings. And why is he doing this, you ask? Well, his legal team argues that mentioning Rihanna would be prejudicial and irrelevant to the current case. The concern is that the jurors will be emotionally influenced by his past rather than focusing on the facts of the lawsuit itself. He pleaded guilty in 2009 for assaulting Rihanna, which we all know didn't work out well in his favor as far as, in life. Just it didn't work out good. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely ruined and I won't go into, that situation, but I do think at some point he should not be continuously dealing with that. I think most of us have had something that happened when we were 16 or 17 or 18, that in our 30s, almost 36 years old, almost 40, he should not have to still be dealing with that. I think that's unfair.
Yeah.
It is. But I guess we'll have to see. Then there was another case. This lawsuit. What is this lawsuit about? Because I know there was one that happened overseas where he was arrested overseas and detained, And that one was allegedly because of him getting into a fight with the producer. And I believe that particular lawsuit was dismissed. This must be another one.
This is something else. I'm not too sure. I know it's a $90 million civil lawsuit.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, but this just shows, it's a larger question about accountability versus relevance.
Yeah. But I think there should be, I think there's like, what irritates me, and I think, this is a good point to talk about, like, we have a statute of limitations on so much. Like, we just finished, all being exposed to this horrific, violent video that we saw Diddy attack Cassie, right? And they weren't able to try him on domestic violence because there's a statute of limitations that prohibits that being, him being tried for that. So it's very hypocritical, in my opinion, for there to be a statute of limitations on a crime that's committed. And now we can't go after you because of that. But if he does something and he pled guilty for it, we can still bring it up way past what would be the statute of limitations. That seems a little bit hypocritical.
Well, I guess it plays the character, right? So what I'm reading is he was dragged into court by former employees, Patricia and Maria Avelia, who are demanding $90 million in damages following allegations of permanent injuries caused by his dog, which attacked Maria while she worked with him.
Oh, yikes.
So that's what that is about.
So now I feel even stronger because the dog attacking her. Now I saw his dog. He's done interviews with his dog. This is a treacherous dog, right? It's an attack dog.
Oh,
it's one of those big attack dogs. I used to have a Cane Corso, so I know when you have a dog like that, it can be very irresponsible to not have them contained. However, his dog attacking her really has nothing to do with what happened in 2009.
No, it doesn't. But they'll throw it in just to muddy the waters to get a,
But they should not. I think that's wrong. But you know what? So we talked about Chris Brown. I think he's having a great time in Paris. Hopefully that will be dismissed. Obviously, this is someone that wants money from him. And he'll probably get some of it. Knowing how this goes, he'll probably get some of it. But
this case with the dog bite is serious, and it is it's not like they're taking him to court for something that didn't happen to them, at his residence. So whether it's $90 million worth or less, then that's of course you always shoot high and then you get what you.
But I just hate that it also speaks to him being a violent person. That's not the same as. Your dog doing something is not the same, but to add context, we had my husband and I, we had a Cane Corso and he attacked two of our dogs and my husband had to put him down because he said, it would be irresponsible of me to keep this dog knowing that we can't necessarily control him.
Right.
Very obedient to us, but he could snap, and it was like, we had to make a decision in a split second because the dog could cause harm to someone else or someone else's dog. And we were able to, we were smart enough to realize that. But if something had happened before we had put the dog down, I don't think that would have spoke to my character, Anyway, there's another Chris in the news. Chris Noth. For those of us that were huge Sex and the City fans, Chris Noth was known as Mr. Big. Mr. Big was the longtime love interest of Carrie Bradshaw, who of course was played by Sarah Jessica Parker. There are few shows that have the type of cultural impact that Sex and the City did. I think it kind of crossed over everywhere. I was in college when this series was on, and my girlfriends and I would get together and watch it all the time. Mr. Big was the love interest that it's like the guy that you could never get out of your system, and they had great chemistry. When the reboot for Sex and the City came back, and Just Like That, it was called And Just Like That on HBO. Mr. Big's character was offed within the first episode, right? And I remember wondering why, because that was a big draw of the story. Not only did we lose Chris Noth, we also lost one of the four core actresses. So it just felt like it was. I really think it probably was a waste for them to come back. I didn't enjoy it as much because that chemistry that we came to love so much was gone. So in first episode, Mr. Big gets on a treadmill and passes out. Now, what we're just learning, because he's doing press now, is that in 2021, he was accused by multiple women of sexual assault. These incidents came from the early 2000s, kind of back when everyone, right after 2020, people were, airing out people for things that had happened years ago, specifically because laws had changed. I think with the Mann Act, and it just reopened a lot of old wounds. So he was accused by multiple women of SA, and instead of having a conversation with him, he's doing press for a project that he has coming out, and he said it hurt his feelings because he no longer is friends and doesn't have a relationship with Sarah Jessica Parker or any of the other Cynthia Nixon or Kristen Davis, who are two women on the show, because after that the accusations came out, no one contacted him. He just learned that he was written out of the script for And Just Like That. And so he said he was honest about how it made him feel. I guess he felt like he could come out and talk about this now. He has always vehemently denied the accusations. He was not convicted of anything. And I'm not sure if he settled with some of these women, but he hasn't went to jail or anything like that. We've seen other people deal with consequences of those allegations. He is not. He has, for all practical purposes, we have to assume he's innocent until he's proven guilty. So he said it would have been great if they would have talked to him, reached out to him, and asked him what was going on. Instead of reaching out to him, Sarah Jessica Parker did make a statement saying that it was really important to support and believe victims when these type of allegations come out. And so I want to ask you and our listeners, like, what do you guys think about that? I can understand both sides. I have a dear friend who was accused of SA years before this happened, but in the music industry and entertainment industry, there's always allegations. Some allegations are false, some allegations are true, and it's hard to you don't know, And so this young lady I was aware of was like in tears, crying about the situation from a colleague that I worked very closely with. At first, I was tempted. I'll be honest, I was tempted to believe her because I'm a woman and I know how it feels to be in situations like that. But I did have a conversation with him, and he was very hurt that I did not come to him initially. I did come to him, but it was later. And I apologize because I did, he and I have been friends for years, worked together, a great working relationship. So I took accountability for being emotionally, having an emotional response to that. And I think a lot of times women can do that because it's easy to empathize with another woman, but it's also very unfair to just assume that someone is guilty before you've had a chance to know the complete story and hear their side of it. So I do understand his point, but I also understand Sarah Jessica Parker wanting to be a woman who is an advocate and someone that would stand up for victims and not make a victim feel like they're being tried as well. I think in that situation, he was owed an explanation because he'd been on the series for, multiple seasons as a main character. And not only to sever the friendship, but also, sever his relationship with the show. I think that was a lot, but I do understand why. What do you think?
So there's a lot of different things going on here. At the time he was accused, what year was this?
2021. But the incidents had happened back in the early 2000s.
But at the heat of the cancel Me Too movement, this was happening. So his name is he's not just a regular degular dude hanging out. This is an actor who's part of an agency, whose name has been on a lot of movies and TV shows, and he's a big name. So you have a lot riding on your name versus a regular guy who's just, corporate or whatever.
Right.
And you're acting with a whole bunch of other people who are represented by other brands and people. So, yeah, while he deserves to be given the benefit of the doubt by his friend, he also has to look at it from a corporate standpoint where you represent, you're represented by a big brand. So you can't just be like, okay, well, I didn't do it, or, this is my side of the story. No, it has to be some action taken
Yeah.
For what happened, but he still needed to be made whole, I guess, by her, by having a conversation. If you're a friend of a person, sit down with them, have coffee, whatever the case is. But at the moment, everyone's like, okay, well, if someone said something you did, then we'll believe it until court says otherwise. There's a whole TV show. What was that? Is it Good Morning on Apple?
Yeah. Good Morning with the talk show.
Yeah. Based around that whole situation, and in the end, the guy ended up taking his life. But same thing happened to him, But it actually did happen. So it's a very weird place to be.
Friend, if somebody came and told me something about you, I would have to ask you. I learned in that situation that happened years ago,
right,
to not operate an emotion when it's something that's serious. I think it's okay to take a beat, but I think I would want someone to ask me, if we have a relationship, a close enough relationship, I would want at least give me the benefit of the doubt.
Unless something happened to her with him, and then and she, she's like, maybe he touched me inappropriately or said something, and then
maybe she felt, who knows? I don't want to speculate on that, but that it could be like that. Speaking of another situation of SA, that seems to be a big thing in the news lately. I mean, we see, and I'm actually happy because for years Hollywood and music, and have been very much a part of culture that's toxic, for women in many cases, and men as well. But this Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case will not go away. Everybody knows, well, most people, if you're following this, that after the movie It Ends With Us, and I watched the movie and I really liked the movie, and then after all this came out, I'm just like, I really don't. It's hard to enjoy the movie after hearing all this. Blake Lively accused Justin Baldoni of inappropriate and uncomfortable behavior on set. He denied the allegations. The reason this went, is such trending news is because Blake Lively's a huge, beautiful actress, very celebrated. Justin Baldoni actually is he's nothing to sleep on himself. Right. And the film was well. A lot of people felt like they didn't have chemistry on film. I didn't see that. But now we have another huge star in the mix, probably the biggest that we have right now. Taylor Swift is now been pulled into the conversation because she is a close personal friend of Blake Lively. And so it's just a lot of really pettiness. I'm sorry, that's the wrong slide. A lot of pettiness going back and forth with this. And some text messages were released between Blake and Taylor, basically, talking about Justin and saying that he's, I don't want to say exactly what the text messages said, but it was some negative text messages about Justin in their text thread. Taylor Swift has not commented publicly, but these text messages have been released, and people are weighing in and kind of choosing sides. Taylor Swift is extremely influential. Blake Lively is extremely influential. You also have Blake Lively's husband, Ryan Gosling, involved. Like it's a lot of stars doing a lot. So I'll be glad when this is settled, because I think both of Blake looks like she's moved on in her career. She's looked amazing at the red carpet. Red carpet premiere together a couple of days ago, but it just keeps being, it's hurtful on both sides. They both have other celebrities, kind of vying for them and speaking up for them. But again, we talk about accountability. And
is she taking him to court?
She is. But this is all in, she filed a legal complaint, and he denied the allegations and countersued. So at this point, they both have lawsuits against each other. And he's claiming that, this is messing up his career. And I'm sure it is. Because even if he does, if he is acquitted or they settle, this still has dirt on it. So somebody may feel I don't want this conversation attached to my project. And even if he is, being unjustly accused, the conversation around this still could supersede whatever projects he's involved in, So I think this is a story. There are a lot of people that this is what I wonder. I know that media now we have access. Fans have access to every piece of information. Before social media, a lot of times something would happen with a celebrity and you would not know until they actually went to court. But at this point, we're involved in the conversation from the moment they make the allegation, and it could be years until the court case actually,
True.
happens. And in that time, there's all this negative publicity that can affect their career. Same thing as I mentioned earlier with Jonathan Majors. He was actually acquitted of most of what he was charged with. But by that time, he had lost his Marvel deal, lost all his endorsements, and he has to start from ground zero. So I wonder, is there a solution for the way that we take sides, rush to judgment? But then I also know if I was the owner of a large brand, I would not want anything that had any type of controversy attached to my brand.
Yeah, you need to have a team of people around you to insulate. I would be like, okay, so who's on your team? Do you have damage control? Do you have a publicist? Do you have a lawyer? How's that look? And then just in case something happens, but you need to have the right people around you to make these decisions based upon whatever that happens. And if you're guilty and you're that type of person, then you're not going to have those things because that's what you do. But if you're a brand, you want to think like a brand, and you have to have all these different pieces to keep you insulated from issues. And that's the only way you can not so much guarantee success, but I think that would guarantee some type of
I think it can keep you safe and help you manage it
to a degree,
as much as you can. I like I said, I spent many years as an entertainment publicist, and a lot of times talent is, when it comes to your personal your personal reputation, it's more than a brand. It's like you, and you don't want, a lot of times people want to speak out because they don't want people to think badly of them. So I understand, but then also, like you said, the best thing is to have a team of people around you that have your best interests at heart, that you trust and that you will listen. Right. And I'm not sure if, which side, because both sides have been slinging a lot of mud. Blake Lively's team for sure. I mean, there's been allegations of, bringing in, media people and different people to help promote this story. We won't know until, and we may never know, honestly. The people that probably know the only two people that know probably are Blake and Justin exactly what happened. But at this point, it seems to be like, trying to destroy a career. And if it's true, but there's a lot of people that are backing up both sides. So this will be something that we'll just have to.
We'll keep looking at. Looking at this story. I'm sure we'll
keep it going. I think we have to end today on a positive note. All those court cases and warrants, and let's end on a positive note. A note about love. A$AP Rocky. He's been doing. He's got some fashion. Done some fashion stuff at Paris Fashion Week. Of course, he and Rihanna were photographed together, and he's been doing some interviews. We know that he was in Highest to Lowest with Denzel Washington, probably this last big project before now, and he did press for that. But this time, he actually is talking about his family. He's talking about his relationship with Rihanna, and they have 3 children. One of the reporters asked him how many children they were going to have, and he said he wasn't sure. He said at this point he's almost catching up to Nick Cannon. What I thought was really interesting, he said that he was given advice to men, and he said he did fumble a good woman at one time, and that good woman he was talking about was Rihanna. He said when they first met and were together, they always, I guess had chemistry, but at the time he wasn't ready for it, and he, kind of fumbled it a little bit. And he said, but we would always see each other. She would come and support me. I would go and support her, and on a friendship, in friendship. And then when he, got to be in a better space, he realized that that was the love of his life. What I love about their relationship, and why I think people feel, we see them and they're 2 huge stars, but they don't garner the type of gossip that people usually are doing. And I think it's because they're a lot alike. Rihanna's from Barbados. He said he has family from Barbados, but not even just the location. It's the idea of how they look at family, how they, what they enjoy. They seem very much in sync.
That's
And
pretty much it.
yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that the public gives them so much attention. And you see, it just feels different. It doesn't feel like we think they're trying to be a power couple. It feels like they just ASAP and Rihanna, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think also because they live outside of what we, they're not just musicians, they're also fashionable. They're like socialites. Their family have a good family structure. His mom was like, I think his dad's from Barbados.
Yes.
And so they have that connection, and West Indian people are raised different and raise their kids different.
Right. Exactly.
Even if Kai Cenat's dad's Jamaican, so he comes from a Jamaican Haitian background as well too. So they're raised different with different principles and
very family, very family.
Yeah, very, very, very family oriented. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah.
I like it. I like that. And she's talked about that before. And he did say that his mom said, where is that girl? Where and just regular girl, but the one that she thought he should be with. But I enjoyed hearing his conversation on that. He did speak about his issue, the tension with Drake.
Yeah.
And he said that he on his side there's no tension. He said he just doesn't mess with Drake. He said a different choice words, but he said he doesn't deal with him. He feels like it's all over a girl, which I'm assuming is Rihanna. And he said that at this point, after people have moved on, got married, had children, you should have no problem. But he said he doesn't really respect Drake the way he handles it, and he's nothing for him. But he's not beefing. He said it's not a beef.
There's no point to.
Yeah. That's his wife at this point. Like she's my wife.
Yeah. Like, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, we have talked about a lot.
A lot.
We have had a full show today. It felt good. I'm still excited about what our biggest topic of the Oscars. What do you have planned for this weekend?
Nothing. Just catching up from this whole week of all the stuff. I'm sure we're gonna have more news on Monday. Crazy stuff happening, and just paying attention to what's going on out there. Enjoying the sunshine and family. That's pretty much it. Yeah. How about you?
Good.
What you got going on?
I'm just gonna try to stay warm and stay.
That's right. That's right.
We have been ordered to stay in our homes after Friday evening. So
they told you that?
The governor. They said wherever you sleep on Friday, stay there.
Man.
That night they did a very plain English to stay indoors if you can, because we want to reserve the streets for people that need to be out there, and then that way we don't have just people out just hanging out. So I think after me as one of the people that suffered in the Snowmageddon, I definitely will stay in. I definitely will stay in. But I think, hoping everyone stays safe. I do want to let people know that TLC is going on their cruise.
Oh.
They're doing a cruise in a 90s cruise.
Okay.
So we just pray that they have that they're able to get to their cruise. Chili and T-Boz coming out of Nashville and Atlanta, going to Miami for the 90s cruise. And so I'll have we'll be able to talk a little bit about that next week. But nothing, just trying to stay safe.
Trying to stay safe. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed. We love hearing back from you. So please leave your feedback if you want to wager in on any of the topics that we discussed, from the Oscars to Gervonta to Chris Brown to Chris Noth and the Sex and the City debacle, and even the Blake Lively, Taylor Swift, and Justin Baldoni. Anything you want to wager in on, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. Make sure that you visit lennoxandparker.com.
Subscribe too. Subscribe. Yeah.
So that you can know when we're coming out. We may eventually start doing this every day of the week so that we're able to connect with all the headlines that are coming out and add additional context. But we're going to sign out for Friday, and we'll see you guys right back here.
Peace out. Thank you all.
Monday 9 on the West Coast, 12 on the East Coast. We'll see you guys then.
See you.
It's 12 noon on the East Coast, 9 a.m. on the West.
And this is Reprint.
This isn't breaking headlines. This is a second look with context added for perspective.
This is Reprint, edited after the headlines.